The memories you create with your family will last them a lifetime. It's been our family's dream trip since the day we first picked up our camper, and it's an old recipe for an unforgettable road trip across the country. Camping at the world's oldest national park, which is also the world's first national park, Yellowstone. When we saw the steam coming off the geysers, we could hardly believe our eyes. I mentioned to my son, the first American to explore the area was John Coulter, a veteran of the Lewis and Clark expedition. After years in the wilderness, Coulter began to tell others of the area's incredible geothermic activity. Few believed these fantastic stories. But what was unknown to many individuals at that time is what lies beneath Yellowstone. One of the world's largest active supervolcanoes is what contributes to this extraordinary collection of beautiful hot springs, mud pots, and the most rare fountains of all, geysers. The most famous geyser, Old Faithful, erupts around 17 times a day, I told my son. He asked me excitedly, "Can we see it for ourselves?" And I said, "Yes, that's where we are heading now." The park preserves more than 10,000 hydrothermal features. That's more than half of all the hydrothermal features found around the world. In 1869, explorers David E. Folsom and Charles W. Cook wrote an account of their expedition to Yellowstone, but had trouble selling it because magazine editors believed it to be too far-fetched. Explorers at that time talked excitedly when they returned home, as if they discovered a children's fairy tale. My youngest daughter says she never wants to leave here. Yellowstone's wildlife is abundant and diverse, I explained, with an estimated 300 species of birds, 67 species of mammals, and 16 types of fish, making it home to the largest concentration of mammals in the lower 48. At first, Americans thought one national park would be enough, but Yellowstone had power. It became a source of national pride, and it attracted people from all over. And so, the idea grew into what we have today, thousands of national parks around the world. This next national monument, representing American history, is something we will never forget. Viewing it with our entire family was a once-in-a-lifetime memory. We just arrived to Mount Rushmore National Monument in the Black Hills National Forest in South Dakota, and I'm so glad we brought along my parents. My dad has wanted to come here since he was a child. The first thing Grandpa said to the kids is, "If life exists outside of the planet Earth, what do you think visitors from the future will think of these giant heads?" I explained that the memorial depicts 4 American presidents: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln, who represent the first 130 years of American history. "But who is responsible for creating these sculptures?" my daughter asked. "It was Gutzon Borglum, a brilliant, famous Dutch-American sculptor," I replied. "He was selected for the Mount Rushmore project. Each of their heads are the height of a 6-story building. Their eyes are 11 feet across. Their noses are 20 feet long. These sculptures may have taken 14 years to complete, but they will live on for thousands of years. A secret hidden cave called the Hall of Records lies behind the monument, and monumental places like these encourage thoughts that may feel like they are out of this world." Many people consider the Grand Canyon to be one of the 7 wonders of the natural world. We arrived today. The site offers one of the most visible examples of a worldwide geological phenomenon known as the Great Unconformity, in which 250-million-year-old rock strata lie back-to-back with 1.2 billion-year-old rocks. What happened during the hundreds of millions of years between remains largely a mystery. We are missing 950 million years worth of rocks. The rock that makes up the walls of the Grand Canyon is vastly more ancient than the dinosaurs, about 1 billion years more ancient, and its legacy will continue to live on for millions of years into the future. President Theodore Roosevelt first visited the Grand Canyon in 1903 and was deeply moved by the unique landscape. He said, "Leave it as is, you cannot improve on it." 5 years later, in 1908, the president declared it a national monument. The Grand Canyon is the 17th national park to be established in the United States. This ancient canyon is 277 miles long and around 6,000 feet deep. The rock found at the bottom of the Grand Canyon is roughly 2 billion years old. Memories begin by witnessing something special, something unforgettable, something like the one and only, the Grand Canyon. I recommend loading up your new RV with everything that feels like home, and then join the rest of the families that have decided to take America's dream trip, like we have, in what we believe is the greatest country in the world. Remember, like Teddy Roosevelt quoted, "Believe you can, and you're halfway there."